or maybe color maybe red to run, maybe say red and save it, and the application automatically compile. You can see directly the effect of the applications reflect. You see the color is red now. So depend what you would like to do. So this is the styling information, and maybe so let's back to the black, and then this is the filling color. Maybe filling color you try to red, maybe depending which color you like to fill. Filling color means the inside of the your polygons, and even though in the line street, and the filling colors you have the you can define yourself what's the color composition, even though your customer said okay we need a this type of colors, or this the combination, the line has to be presented in this one, or even though the different type of the polygons, maybe the buildings maybe different colors, or plots different colors, floor is different colors, or units maybe different colors, depending you can define it here. So this is the that's I say this is a really basic level at the moment, how you call the maps and how can you build the geometries inside the maps with the OpenStreet maps. So here's our definition. So we define our styles really badly, or really basic idea to style it, and return the your multi-points, the coordinates points, the color. So points features geometry means why use the use cases for the point features or point geometry. So maybe you need to define into the requirements, you need to define your gas or water, internet, TV, or electricity, or filling stations, or blah blah blah, or other services to where exactly into the locations in the POIs, point of interest. That means you see, if you go to the Google Maps, you search it, or you see that okay, here is my petrol pumps located. Maybe here my TV station is located as a points, and maybe where the city planner or the city government, where my all the gas uh, the connector points, then where which houses is connected which points you can see in the maps. This is the idea to build those type of applications. So even though he can go okay a million extra pages, extra geo applications, he can see okay where the main connection is there. So this is the nodes and the main connection nodes points. Maybe this is the all the machines installed, the hard devices like gas meter installed here, the water machines is water meter is installed there, or maybe the electricity meter is installed there. So that means they can see exactly where their device is installed, where the devices installed assigned to which user, which buildings or which plot, which the services points. So that is our main connecting points, and this is the individual connection points, maybe the second hub of the connections, then maybe the individual plot connections maybe here. Then that means every main street, every utility services point is located, and then the city planners or city government or city engineer can handle those information in maps, in geographically. Exactly, they can make a decision for the constructions, to the safety, fire safety, or security, or other for or cost calculations, or billings, or payments, or whatever it is. Everything is possible when you have a geo application and non-geo application. That's the idea to share with you. How can you think about how can build those type of application? So where we are. So what the functionalities of the POIs? This is the really hard-coded application. In the future, what we did, we will change. Let's say we try to change like thousands of points to build in the maps. Like one example. We have home bar selections, we can navigator. So this is the randomly created points. You see the randomly created points. Just I like some loop conditions badly doing. Just like give it impression how it works, how the point is generated. And it's into the different business models have been. So basically, it's not the way of doing, but I will show you how the effect is done, how the function implementation. Basically, this is the 2 points is important for us. So this is the random selections, like to give it the impression how the for loop works when our buildings, plot, address, and floor and unit register. We take they call the microservices and iterate through the all information and build the maps into the here. That's the idea in the later release, later implementations. So that means here's the dummy how it works to show you how the maps implementation is done. So what we need just need to change the coordinate points from your microservices. Just replace it, build it, and give it to the end client. So this is the vectors, the line. You see the line points and the individual points. That means the for loops is running. If it's not for loops, the individual points, and there's the coordinate points for line. So line string geometry for utilities, connection for gas, water, internet, and TV, electricity, and then that means this is the part you see the line points, line geometry. So this is the from 2 nodes it's connected with lines, and then this line connected with all individual plots and buildings, whatever it is. That's the definition of the line features to use it. So whenever when the line is stored into the database, these coordinate points, and this is the coordinate points, first points and the last points, and it's automatically build the lines into the maps. So you see we define our coordinate points, we features polygon lines, and then we set our geometry this is the most important. You need to take care. Line string geometry, you pass your coordinate point, build the geometry, and geometry is transformed to the respective presentation, like from the WEPSG 4326 up to the 3857s transformations, and you build the vector sources with the features. So that means that's why I said in the presentation, the models, you coordinates definitions, your features definitions, and your geometry definitions, and then your vector definitions, and then you add your layers into the maps. So this is very, very simple layering. Add this.maps.add layers, and with the layers that you define here. So that means in the coordinates point that you define what type of geometry it is, and what's the vector resources for this one. And not the vector resources, you define your features, and features has a connectivity with your vectors definitions, resource definition, and then style. That means this is the style that we define here, the default style, and this thing you can change dynamically. This is the global style setting, but even though we can multiple style settings, maybe somewhere, some part of the, maybe you have to make a for line 1 style, points 1 style, for polygon another style, then you can integrate very quickly for the styling. But as I said, this is very initial stage. So it's the same lines. We build the 2 lines. It's a one line for the main connection to this here example. It's exactly the same thing here, and this is the polygon one. So this is the most important functionality features. Polygon geometry is for the address where our register user located, and plots and buildings and floor and unit, those the polygons. So I put it here 5 polygons object. You see the polygon has a list of coordinates. So line generated with 2 points, that's already in the geometry, from the geometry lectures or classes. And this is the polygon. It has a multiple points, and you see the list of points, the first points, second points, third point, fourth points. At least for the creating of the polygon, you need at least 3 points. For the case of the OpenLayer libraries, already know the first points has to be same as the last points. That's the core part you need to think out. That means you have a very fast. You edited it first point, take it second point, third point, fourth point, and then fourth point and fifth point will be the same as the first points. That's the idea to build. Otherwise, you cannot build this geometry into via the OpenStreetMap API. But in the OpenLayer Leaflet has a possibility to really close it. If you have 4 points, it's automatically closed up your polygons and joined it from the very first points. And yeah, of course, every functionality, every library has some constraint and limitations. You need to follow that one. So you have a coordinates, you have coordinates as exactly the same thing. That's how we did it already, just replacing the